Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a tale of two pasts. You're about to see how changing just one little thing, a grammatical tense, can transform a simple list of events into a really gripping story. We're unlocking the secrets to more powerful and immersive writing.
So to really see the difference, let's start with a story told in the simplest way you can imagine, using only the past simple tense. As we go through these next few slides, just notice how the story feels, what it's telling you, and maybe more importantly, what it's missing.
Okay, so we start with a pretty simple scene. Someone slept last night. It's a fact, right? A completed action in the past. But it doesn't really create much of a mood, does it? There's no atmosphere here.
Then this happens. An earthquake struck. Again, it's just presented as another completed action. We're just getting a sequence of events, one after the other.
And then the house shook and people screamed. The story is just a sequence of isolated facts. It's informative, sure, but it feels so disconnected, almost like you're reading a police report or something.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem. We know what happened, but we have no idea how it felt. There's no atmosphere, no sense that things were happening all at once. So how do we fix that? Well, the solution isn't just about using more words, it's about using the right grammatical tools to pull the reader right into the scene.
And our first major tool is what a lot of people call the storytelling tense. This thing is the key to setting a scene and making your stories way more immersive. So let's meet the past continuous.
The best way to think about the past continuous is like it's a movie camera. Instead of just showing you a single snapshot, a finished picture, it shows you an action as it was unfolding over time. It's what you use to paint the background of your story.
And the best part, the structure is so simple. It's just the past tense of the verb to be, so was or were, and then you follow it with your main verb with an ing ending. That's it. Okay, are you ready to see the huge difference this one tense can make? We're going to rewind our little story and tell it again, but this time we're going to weave in the past continuous.
So instead of two separate facts, we now have this. While I was sleeping last night, an earthquake started. See that? All of a sudden, the sleeping isn't a finished event. It's the ongoing background action that gets dramatically interrupted. The two events are now powerfully linked together. And the chaos just builds from there. The house was shaking, and people were screaming. We're not just listing events anymore, are we? We're showing two things happening at the exact same time. You can actually feel the scene coming alive.
So now we can set a scene with an ongoing action. That's great. But what about the events that led up to this moment? To get that crucial backstory, we need to add another layer of depth.
This tense is basically our time machine. It lets us jump back to an even earlier point in time to explain the history of a situation. Its main job is to show you how long something was happening before the main story even began.
And the structure here is also really consistent. It's always had been plus the ing form of the verb. It doesn't matter what the subject is. Now look at this example. I was exhausted because I had been studying for 3 hours. You see how that adds a whole new layer? We don't just know the person was exhausted, we know why. The studying happened for a duration before that moment of exhaustion, and that's what gives our story real depth.
All right, so we've met our two big storytelling tenses. Now, let's put them side by side just to make their different jobs crystal clear.
And this really boils it all down perfectly. The past continuous is like our camera on the immediate scene, what was happening right then. The past perfect continuous is our time machine to the history, what had been happening that led up to that moment. One is for the scene, the other is for the backstory.
Now, a huge part of mastering these tenses is not just knowing when to use them, but also when not to. You see, there's a certain type of verb that just doesn't play well in continuous forms.
Take this sentence, for example. I was knowing the answer. It might sound logical, but it's a classic mistake. It's trying to make a state into an ongoing action, and that just doesn't really work in English. Let's dig into why. The key is right there in the name. Stative verbs describe a state, not an action. I mean, think about it. You can't really be in the process of knowing something. You either know it or you don't. It's a condition. And here are some of the most common ones. You wouldn't say, I am wanting a coffee, right? You'd just say, I want a coffee. Well, the exact same logic applies when we're talking about the past. These verbs describe states of being, not activities that are unfolding.
And the fix is so simple. For these stative verbs, you just use the simple tense.
So not I was knowing, but I knew. Just remembering that one simple rule will make your English sound instantly more fluent and natural.
Okay, let's bring all this together and see how these tools really empower you, the storyteller. Because that's what this is all about, right? Giving you the framework to tell much better stories.
You know, this famous quote from Anton Chekhov just perfectly captures the goal of powerful writing. Anyone can state a fact, they can tell you something, but a great storyteller uses their tools to show you the scene, to make you feel it. And the tenses we've just covered, they are your absolute best tools for doing exactly that.
So, here's your takeaway. You can now describe the scene with the past continuous, and you can give it some backstory with the past perfect continuous. You can turn any simple list of events into a dynamic, compelling narrative. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell first?